tuned into the show that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere. The Northwest Super Late Model Recap. And now, here are your hosts, Terry Bridges and Jeff Eden. Oh, what is going on, racers? I'm your horsepower and performance host, Terry Bridges, with another edition of Late Model Monday. Yeah, going to be kind of a cool show. We got the awesome Nick Behn from South Speedway is going to be our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest tonight. Looking forward to talking to him.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting in with me, as always, the best co-host, crew chief in the business, the loader, Mr. Jeff Eden. What's going on, Jeffrey?
Oh, just another fine Monday.
Another fine Monday. You said when you walked in, oh, it's been one of those days.
It has been.
What's going on?
But I've changed my mind. I'm sitting there with you talking. I'm good.
Dude, how awesome is that? That's okay. Was it work? Just the day.
Well, my knee's starting to give me total fits. It makes things unenjoyable.
Yes.
But that'll be fixed here in a month and a half.
Because we're so new at this late model stuff, we did the show, and we've been doing stuff, and you know, Jeff, I mean, honestly, it has been helter-skelter, right?
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, the effort has been there.
Oh.
And, you know, trying to get good quality guests, we're not going to tell these guys anything they don't already know or try to teach them anything. I mean, that would be crazy. This is just...
No, actually, I think what
right?
we're doing is bring in these gentlemen to the other people that don't know them. You know, you've got some out there that, you know, that don't know who those guys are, and they and they've all give good accounts of themselves.
Well, you know, and how many times do you really, you know, oh, do you know Nick Behn? Oh, yeah, I know him. You don't know him. I mean, you know him from the track and blah blah blah
of him, yes.
Right? And not that this maybe 20 minutes or half hour is going to get you intimate with Nick, but hopefully, I guess that's where our job lies, is to ask the right questions so that they do get to feel like they can kind of say, you know, I don't really know him, but I've just
I got an idea what he's about now.
Exactly.
And you know, that's hello, Ronnie Swires. How are we doing, bud?
Product41.com, Ronnie Swires. He is
from Salt Lake City.
Might as well be, huh?
Well, no, that's where he's at. That's where he said.
Okay.
And Daryl Kelso.
Man, those are our guys, man. These guys, Daryl Kelso especially, he has taken Scott Warning's place as one of the Northwest Race Report's best followers. But we got some results from Irwindale. We got the Canada 200. We're going to talk a little bit about the Northwest Super Late Model Series and just how it's come down. It's kind of crazy. And then we're going to just chit-chat. We're going to talk with Nick. And we're going to just have a good old time. We got some stuff from State Line, too. I want your advice on this, too, or your opinion on this. So don't go anywhere. We're going to get our stuff together. We'll be right back. If you're serious about racing, you're constantly looking for an edge. A tenth here, a pound there. It's a nonstop pursuit to find a quicker way around the racetrack. See High Performance believes to beat the racetrack, you must become the racetrack. And that is the thought process behind all of their innovative speed products. From their line of Superfly bodies and wings to the latest dual disc center vane super brake, it's all about finding a quicker way around the racetrack. With 45 years of innovation, See High Performance is dedicated to helping racers of all skill levels find an edge. Whether it's horsepower tuning, chassis dialing, or tire science, it's their commitment to innovation that sets them apart from the rest. Innovation is not what is, it's always been about what can be. So be all you can be with the integrity, innovation, and inspiration of C High Performance. Shop online 24/7 at chighperformance.com. All right. Hey, Late model action. I went to South Sound this past weekend. Was there Saturday. Well, Nick Behn, I got a call from Jason Majors. That's how it all came about. Jason Majors said, "Hey man, you wanna announce the our championship night?" I said, "Well, yeah,
of course."
But they got an announcer. Why would just all be something cool to that you want to call him? It's like, yeah, but they have an announcer. But hey, if yeah, I'll do it. So next thing I know, Jason says, "Well, I've cleared it with Nick. Everything's a go. Come on down Saturday." And so I said, I still didn't hear anything okay from the other announcer, right? So you it's like, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So you go in there and it's like, I don't want to go pee on his territory or think that no. Somebody asked me, I didn't go say, hey, you need to, no.
Move over.
Yeah. Wasn't that at all. We got rained out. He wanted to try some stuff, so I brought some of the gear, our road gear that we use, the mixer and stuff, and I think it was dialed. And then we hooked up my wireless, and because his didn't quite go the distance, but I don't know. It seemed to work pretty good. But I called Kelly Hale on Friday, and I said, hey, man, we're good, I hope. Just letting you know, I got asked. I didn't go searching. He says, no problem. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to working with you. We didn't get to work together. Kind of a bummer, because I was, after meeting him, we went and had dinner over at the Junction. That's a bustling little place.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Dude is super cool. We're kind of on the same wave. I think I'm maybe just a little bit more out there than Kelly, but he's just what you see is what you get. Down home, down earth guy, that likes announcing motorsports, much like me. Other than I just a little more boisterous, I guess, because we hook all the mics up right. Hale does his little check 1 2 1 2, whatever. I get on and I say, mic check 1 2 1 2, and the lady in the room goes, wow, you're loud.
We know that.
Everybody's got a little difference. But anyway, I just wanted to say, this is a shame. Irwindale, the super late models, their show was going on down there. They had quite a little deal. They got the late models, then they got the spec late models, and then they have the super late models. Must be a stepping stone progression. Really doesn't matter, because my understanding is at the end of January they're all done.
Our number 3 biggest fans on now.
And Brian Williamson, baby. Yep, he's a passionate racer. So, did you hear the same thing? Irwindale's done, right?
Yep.
It's sad, right? I mean, they were one of the first. That was one of the first supermodel kind of real, oh my goodness, dream speedways, right? Where, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I know.
And real modern, not the old school. Not that that's bad. I almost wonder if that, well, I know. Is it the county or whatever does that?
I don't know. I to be honest with you, I hadn't got into enough of it. I just kind of seen that it was going down, and I'm so frustrated with these tracks disappearing, and a lot of it seems to be that we're being built to. So you start getting people closer and closer, they start complaining, and we want this, we want that, and then pretty soon somebody throws up their hands and they walk away.
And and I get that, but also as a using that example, if you're going to buy a house and it's by the racetrack, you damn sure better not be bothered by it. You know that going in. Yeah. So why are you going to go cause grief and ruin it for everybody else?
One of the prime examples is right up the road here at Pacific Raceways. There was nothing out there when that track was built. All them houses came in after that track was built and running 4 years.
Right. And it's not like they run every single solitary day, do they?
Oh, pretty much.
No, but I mean,
they don't.
I mean, the roaring,
the big cars, no. That's a once-a-year deal, and then they'll run a few alcohol cars, and they got exhibition stuff.
Right.
But for the most part, it's bracket racing. That's it. And then your road course runs. They got a driving school there. You got a motocross track. Besides, you have a go-kart track there. So you have a bustling facility.
But you don't. But they're not making the noise of a fuel car every day, right?
No.
Or uncapped headers or whatever. It's a shame. I mean, it really is, because I'd never been there. Nothing I'd never wanted to. It's just so that makes you know that it was big enough to make you notice, right? Because I mean, it was in all the mags and stuff. Well, anyway, the late models went to David Sear. This guy looked pretty good, because they had 2 late models in the Rusty Wallace driving experience. That's pretty crazy, right? They had 2 main events, and Sear won both. Matt Tassau was second, and in the first one, and then it was Peter Stiles second in the round 2. Third was David Arnold. James Smith was third in the second one. David Arnold was fourth. Let's see, James Scott was fourth. So they just kind of flip-flopped around, but pretty cool. I didn't know they raced that. I thought it was just you got in and drove.
Yeah, I didn't know they raced them either. That's
crazy.
I know that they were at South Sound last year, and I really kind of wanted to go down and.
Oh, they were there.
I want to jump in one,
right? Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It just never worked.
Funny how that always seems to happen, doesn't it? Yeah. Who knows? So
probably best.
Could we? Could we possibly see a Rusty Wallace series out of this? Maybe some reality TV.
One never knows, especially with the
right?
Wallaces.
I mean, of the spec late models, and I'm going to assume that's either a tire or a motor roll-up. They don't call the crate stuff spec motor. I guess they do, but
well, it's
yeah. Anyway, Kenny Smith wins that. Craig Eaton and Ed Gutler were the podium guys, and this is the other one I'm kind of confused at. So they've got, that's why, because of Rusty Wallace late models. These are the late models. So they have the late models, the super late models, and the spec late models. Alan Lawless wins the late model division. Egan Chartan was second, and Nick Jonides was third. That was in Main 1. Main 2 was Matt Johnson, Nick Jonides, and Trevor Huddleston. Cool stuff. I'm going to look those up because I want to know what that spec class is. Meridian, the Big 5 late models. I haven't heard much about that. Have you?
No.
Maybe that's just a name they picked at the track for their class. I don't know. Maybe that could be. Chris Fenton, who has run a Northwest Super Late Model Series event. Dylan Caldwell and Justin Ellis. Top 3. Dave Heinrich wins the Canada 200. Brandon Carlson, Wesley Matter, Trevor Adelman, and Jarrett Bond were your top 5. Aaron Wilkie, Tom Barrow, Jason Frost, and Tony Grant rounded out the top 10. State line. Now, I know you and I have been going because we were like, oh, my goodness, right? So I get on there today. Did you look it up, too?
No, I didn't. I've been busy.
Dave Garber wins it. Rob Vining was second. Third, Tyler Brown. These are championship points, folks. Vance Reynolds and Lucas Bird. Is Lucas? Must be younger than Joey. I will tell you, I got on there and it says Racer Profiles, and I clicked on one. There was only one that I could see. It was Joey Bird. You should look at his resume. It's impressive. Yeah, and you wouldn't, I mean, it's not out there. And it should be. But it's not. It's pretty impressive. I mean, he even lists his karting wins and stuff. So, he was sort of, kind of like you were saying the other night, grooming for all this.
Yeah, and the thing of it is what I see too is like with these. Remember when Anne Marie was saying blog, do everything you can. So you need to get a blog going to keep this stuff out in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
That way, somebody's like, "Hey, I want to put that dude in my car," or maybe he needs some help. I got an extra 20,000,
right?
But
when the guy sits there and says, "Well, geez, I didn't know." Joey Bird, we love you. That's why we're telling you this. Man, get that resume out there, dude. It's impressive, for sure. Dave Heinrich was the guy that he and Wade Bland, I think, got together at the finish of the 200 at Southtown.
Sounds about right. I don't remember.
The Miller 200. Yeah, I think it was Heinrich. I could be mistaken, but... Hey, by the way, Ronnie Swire says... Oh, Daryl Kelso says... What's he say here? Kansas City International had been where it was for over 35 years and got shut down because a banker that built on a hill next to the track. How many times have we heard that? How many times have you heard that?
A bunch.
Too many, right?
Too many.
Yes. So what do you think? Dave Garber wins that deal. Havens ends up 13th. Mark Allison was 10th. Andy Brown, second. Mike Ellert Jr. was 6th. 7th, Russ Osborne. 8th, Darren and Dirk Bennett. Andy Brown, 9th. Braun, excuse me. And Mark Allison, 10th. Havens finishes 13th in championship points. That was per the website. Now, I gave you that other sheet. This is what I found interesting when I went snooping around on the State Line Speedway site, which, by the way, it's kind of a cool site. I mean, if it was completed, it'd be really cool, but it's a nice little site. That point system's cool. Because they give points for qualifying, and look at how they break it down. 1 through what? 1 through 10 is 5 points, and or 1 through 5th is 5
and 4. 6 through 10 gets 3. 11 through 15 gets 2, and 16 and on down get a point.
Right. And then if you look over to the right, there's a list. That's how the main event goes. It goes 75 to the winner, drops 5, and then it goes 1, down.
But here, too, though, you get on the heat races, they're giving points for heat races,
yes.
too.
5 to start.
And 5 to finish.
So that's 10 points right there.
And then wherever you're...
So so it's almost like go-karts in a way where you're doing the 3 things and you know what I mean? You're getting, and whoever's got the best number there sits on the pole. And I think
what I like about this is the split on the top. I mean, you're not really killing a second place person,
but you're getting rewarded for it.
You're being rewarded for. I mean, 75 for first, 70. And then 65 for third, and then we start dropping the increments down.
Okay, so it was 65, then it goes 66, 67.
No, it's 60. It went to, 68, 67, and then
on down to 60. And that's all I could print because the screen cut off. But
that's, I think that's a fair, one thing it doesn't let a great big runaway go off. You're it's gonna keep the points close.
Right. But I do like the fact that you should be rewarded more if you win.
Yeah.
Don't you think? I mean,
the winner should have the bulk of it.
Yes.
But
you want to spread the wealth? Yes.
But the second place guy, I mean, he's had to. You got a whole bunch of guys behind you that you've held off.
He should get a pretty fair chunk too.
Yeah,
I agree.
And that's like I say, the first three are pretty. That's a 10-point swing.
Right.
So, and then after that, yeah.
But in a lot of ways, these points or whatever like that, or we could go back to what we were saying is, you know what? Second is still the first loser.
Oh yeah.
So he doesn't deserve that. The deal is you take it all or basically you get nothing.
Well, I know. I agree to a point, but
I know that's the business person in us now saying.
But it's just like at the drag strip. You go out and you lose first round. Your first round runner up, and you head for the beer stand. These guys don't get to go to the beer stand until the race is over. I could usually be drinking beer by 1.
Wow. But I do like that. Do you like that point system?
Yes, I do. I really do. I think that's something that I'm not sure how the karting deal does, like on the indoor deal and stuff. But
well, I don't know how they do for qual. So I qualify on the pole. I should get something for that too. Yeah. I should. The guy that finishes 5th or qualifies 5th, or 4th, right? He's gonna get 5 points, right? 1 through 5 is 5.
4 points.
Oh, 4 points. Okay. So he shouldn't get 4. I'm fast time. I should get a bonus point for being the quick qualifier. That would give me 5 and everybody else 4. I did out-qualify everybody. I don't know. I'm just saying. Devil's advocate, kind of. Not that I'd be qualifying P1 anyway. But, hey. But big shout-out to Dave Garber. That family has such a history in the sport. Might not be, rockets and confetti but man, they've been, those, like a good old Ford LTD just runs and goes and is there. You know what I mean? They were good racers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Is LTD the wrong one?
No, I was thinking of the silver Cadillac in Salem.
Yeah. Do you think Dave Garber's dad would drive a silver Cadillac, Jeff?
If it was a new one.
Maybe if it's a new one. But if it was a new old one, I don't think so.
I just remember in the days of Terry Bridges into the shop.
Oh, well, that was what, you know what? I bought that Cadillac for $800 because they thought the rear end was out of it. All it needed was an axle. It was a 77 Fleetwood Brougham d'Elegance.
Oh yeah, it was.
You remember those little dolls with the little things you could hang from your mirror? They were like little wart guys, and they had that straight hair. That's what the interior floor was lined with. That kind of that rug. It was that real thin kind of cotton candy kind of carpet. It was crazy.
As I remember, you couldn't see in the car because you had the seat laid back so far.
Well, hey, it had a 425 in it, and it was power everything. And you know what? It came from the factory with an AM/FM CB radio. I had the little CB deal on it. Oh, rubber ducky. Crazy. Anyway, are the wheels falling off? No, I don't think so.
We don't do that on Monday.
So congratulations to Dave Garber, who wins the title. Vance Reynolds was 4th. Lucas Bird. We went through these. Eller Jr., Osborne, Bennett, Braun, and Allison. Havens was 13th. Looking at the schedule, I think, and that might be on yours, on that second page. Is it? No. Where's my Brittany Zamora page?
Well, that's your Northwest.
Yeah, there it is. I think State Line has one more at the end of the month. Oh, no, that was their championship night.
I was going to say.
That was their championship night. Evergreens is the 23rd. Wenatchee's is the 23rd. And South Sounds. is on the 2-3.
It's getting that time of year.
Yes, it is. Northwest Super Late Models. After Rocky Mountain Raceways, Brittany Zamora on top with 325 points. Let's just talk about that really quick. Can you imagine? She took the mini stock title in her rookie season, and she was Rookie of the Year, and she won the Fall Classic, all in the first year. Yes. So then she runs the Year of the Late Models just to kind of get her feet wet. Her dad tried to make it like it was his, but we all knew who that was. I called that one bigger than anything. Especially when I saw the green frame and cage, that beautiful green, it's just awesome. Gosh, if she turns around and wins this deal in her first season, that's pretty impressive.
It how do you want to put it? It puts a stamp on it.
It does. I think it does.
Yes.
You're 100% right on that.
That's
not that we doubted it.
No, but it just lets everybody else know.
Yes.
Brittany is for real.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. But here's the deal. They're going into one more on the 23rd at Wenatchee. Now, Mitch Klein is at 302. He could do it. Except his car got tore up down there at RMR. And it sounded like maybe he might have to retire it.
Oops.
Wouldn't that stink? I'm sure he's got another one. He's got rotors, right? Or the one Rotor drives. So, Christian Rotor. But, I don't know. But check this out. Jen Evans is third at 297.
He's just been quietly doing that.
Yeah. I mean, he's 5 out of second and 28 out of the championship.
Yeah, and it's been a quiet pull. I mean, he hasn't.
Who knew?
Yeah, he's just been there.
Yeah.
Every time I look at it, he's there.
I mean, my first thing when I looked at it was, where'd he come from? Right?
Consistency.
Brooke Schimmel fourth. We were looking at that saying, boy, they've had a tough season. They're better than this. She's sitting fourth with 2 wins.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? I mean, and get this. You say consistency. Our boy Ed Thompson, the independent, 5th at 268. I mean, long shot, but, I mean, he's 25 out of 4th and 57 out of the win. Way long shot, but still 57 out? That's not bad.
For an independent?
Gosh.
I give him the win.
And everybody will say, well, we're all independents. We're all hoofing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's just say with a lesser budget is more the word.
Okay. I'll agree with that.
But check this out. Kress, all the nightmares he's had this year. No luck. Buzzard luck. 234. And he's what? 20-something out of 5th and 91 out of the championship.
And for his bad luck that he's had.
Yeah.
But and it's just like, when he was Southtown here a couple weeks ago, wasn't he runner-up?
Kress? Yes. Yes.
So maybe things are turning for him.
I know Alan Kress is going, let's hope so.
Yeah.
But, I mean, a couple guys that I really enjoyed, Jason O'Neill and Cameron McKeon, Junior Hanley. His car looks just like Junior Hanley's. They're 16th and 17th. Zach Beeman, who was, he gave Garrett a run, 23rd. Stephanie Evans and Garrett Evans. Daughter, dad, 11th, 12th. Riddle wins 1 and is 24th. Taylor Riddle, 25th. Brandon Ash, 26th. Havens is 10th. Rotor is 9th. Mitchell is 8th. Glenn Knutson is 7th. Oh, and here we go. We're going to get this show underway right now. Your favorite drivers and people of interest in the motorsports world. It's time for In the Seat, powered by Blue Line Graphics. All right, our guest tonight. Oh, baby. Uh-oh, where'd my cord go? Our guest tonight is a guy that a lot of racers might know, Jeff. Would you agree? But a lot of the fans and other people might. He's kind of behind the scenes at South Sound Speedway. His name is Nick Behn. Nick, welcome to the show, my man.
Terry, thanks for having me, buddy.
Okay. I got to tell you, man, I mean, we've talked at the track a little bit, but I mean, you when people bring up South Sound, you go, yeah, oh yeah, South Sound, yeah. But you guys are kind of out of sight, out of mind kind of deal. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's not really what we want to hear, but I mean, I guess so in the in the mainstream.
Well, I mean, I just mean, you know, here, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I don't mean that derogatory. I mean it.
I know you don't.
You know, I mean that as I don't know. I guess maybe this next question will answer it. Other than running the store, what do you do at the racetrack?
The list might be shorter of what I don't do.
Okay, so you're trying to do the media thing too, and making sure that gets squared away, right? I mean, as well.
You know, we've got our track photographer. She does all the posters. She helps manage the website and the Facebook page along with her daughter. You know, they do a really good job with that. It's tough, you know. There's only so many hours in the day to do things.
You know what, Nick? Nobody knows that better than me. I agree with you 100%. It is tough. I mean, you say, well, gosh, because I know, well, Loader, you go because you're kind of a mainstay there when you get there, but you always look for points there.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you guys owned South Sound?
We took it over September of 95.
Wow. Had the same owner owned it up until you? Are you like the second owner?
No, it went through a couple different people. We purchased it from Mickey Beadle, who, of course, ran Evergreen Speedway forever.
Wow.
Before Mickey, I know that Dick Boness and the Cope family, and there was a couple other people involved in it before that.
Yeah. I don't know about you, and if I'm not. Hopefully, you're not thinking these questions are stupid, but I mean, don't you think track history is important?
Track history is definitely important. And when we took it over, there wasn't a whole lot to go with it, so we just kind of had to go as we go. But we've kept pretty good records since we've been there, and of course, with the internet, that sure helps. I mean, you can look up any stat you want forever.
I know, that is cool. I mean, just, you know, I mean, even if, for guys like me, even just to go back and see, you know, go back through the results, see who was there, and maybe even go by looking at it and go, God, you know what? I remember that. I was there. It's kind of cool.
It's awesome, definitely. Some of the old pictures you get, some of the finishes, some of the crowds, the names that you come across that you just never realized were started at South Sound or did a lot of racing there. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. So now, were you involved in the sport at all before your family took over the track?
Yeah, so we ran Western Speedway up in Victoria, BC, Canada, and Butch had that from 85 to 97.
Okay. That's wow.
And he's been involved with a lot of the Canadian racers throughout the years. You know, before he was involved with the racetrack, he was always working on race cars. That's a little before my time, but that's okay.
well, how old are you, Nick?
I'm 38.
Okay. So, have you raced anything? I mean, had you raced cars or karts or anything?
Yeah, I raced a little bit.
Cool. And when was that?
I raced from 98 to 2005 at South Sound.
Sweet. And did you just kind of progress up, or did you jump right in something?
Started in the street stock class and worked our way up to super late models.
Dude, that's awesome.
Won the super late model championship there 3 years in a row. So that was pretty much the highlight of what I can do.
Heck yeah, man. Wow.
Beat guys like Ray Wallace, Wes Rhodes, Brian Baumelli, a lot of names that are South Sound famous for sure. Tom Sweatman.
Mm-hmm.
That's Sweatman.
So, definitely got some respect from the drivers that remember that. So that goes a long way with being a race director and making a call, and they know you've been there and done that, so they respect you a little more.
Well, that's something too, Nick. This year, I don't normally go into pits when I go down there, but I've been kind of helping go hang out with Dan West and Devin. And I went to a couple of drivers' meetings, and I love the way you have the command of the drivers' meeting. There's so many other places I've been. You got drivers that are looking off over here, and they're talking about this or not paying any attention. It seems to be you have the full attention of your drivers, and that is cool.
You better pay attention to my drivers' meeting because it lasts about 4 minutes, and that's it.
But what you say, though, I mean, I sat there and listened to it. I mean, you're very directed what's going on, and guys, we got to do it, and I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know
you
what?
mentioned Devin West. Boy, isn't that young man having a heck of a year?
Ooh, he's so smooth. I love watching him. I've known his dad. I know when he won the championship down there when he was driving the late model, and then he'd been doing some dirt stuff, and I got a really good friend of mine that I help out in the dirt, and Dan have been friends forever. So just following him at Devin's just kind of a natural,
Yeah, well, that's great. Good family.
Oh, excellent family.
So I was a little disappointed Saturday. That stinking rain, especially when I get up on Sunday and it was the day it was. It's like, can you believe this?
Can't win sometimes.
Gosh, I guess not. So how involved is that when you have a rain out? I mean, for you, is it a nightmare?
It's not a nightmare. I mean, you never want to see a rain out. Let's be. So here's how it goes, right? The racetrack business, you've got roughly 24 days a year to make a living. Every time you miss one, that's a big percentage of potential income gone. And then you've got to deal with, order all the food for the concession. So now what do you do? Because you got an X amount of food that goes bad. No matter what, you got to if a car hits the track, you pay insurance. You got your employees. So it's just a lose deal when it's a rain out.
Wow.
And then especially at the end of the year, what we normally do is if the cars hit the track, we give half their money back. But then you've got, a traveling class that isn't coming back. So then you got to figure out the logistics of how to get everybody squared away there. And it's on and on and on.
Yeah. A lot of people don't see that stuff. Even the people that work there, they get to hang up the apron and go home. You got to deal with it. It's
exactly. There's a lot of behind the scenes that people don't think about and don't get that goes into running one of these racetracks.
Just like the drag strip. I worked at Woodburn Drag Strip for probably 10 years, and I was very close with Jay and Jim. And what the stuff you're talking about right there is just, they sit down and it's a quick hash out. Okay, this is what we're going to do because we got guys from Idaho, Montana, stuff like that. They're not coming back, so you got to be fair with them.
Absolutely. Otherwise, they're definitely not coming back the next time.
Exactly.
It's nobody's fault that it rains, but yeah, it's a tough one because you're taking a hit. No matter what, you're taking a hit on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got to ask, you the guy that takes care of the grounds?
I am not the guy that takes care of the grounds, thankfully. Once in a while, I'll have to fix something on the lawnmower, but we've got 2 full-time guys, and that's all they do is take care of the property.
I'm going to tell you what. I've been to a lot of racetracks. That's right up there. I mean, overall, I don't care about the modernness of it. I'm talking about it just looks, it's like just a bitchin' classic car that's been well taken care of, right? It's just outstanding.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. We do take a lot of pride in the appearance of the place.
Well,
you can tell by the white fences and the green grass, and everything's always painted and proper. And
yeah, your grass looks better than mine does.
Yeah, goes a long way, right?
My grass is asleep at my house.
Mine too. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, and just the little things like everybody's dressed the same. They're in white pants and whatever shirt they're wearing. Dude, it's sharp. I think.
Absolutely.
So, how was 2017? Your thoughts on how you thought everything went? Are you happy?
Well, I'm not going to complain because nobody'd listen. But honestly, it started rough, right? The rain, it rained all of April, all of May. we had a monster truck show scheduled in June. Well, to start June, we had the tour race. Awesome. Perfect night, perfect crowd, perfect race. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better deal, right? And that was really kind of when things kicked off and started moving. 3 weeks later, we got our monster truck show. It's 103 degrees in June. Nobody came. So that was a tough one. The rest of the summer, it was pretty darn good. I mean, the weather was cooperating. The crowd was good. The car count was excellent. So 2017, the bookends might not be great, but the middle was good.
Yeah, especially, I don't know how you feel about it, but I got lots of friends that when there's one race they look at, and it's a shame they don't look at more of them, but it's the Canadian big rigs. They win the third. They come out of the woodwork for that one.
It is just absolutely unbelievable. We pack the place for that show every single year. It's an amazing show. I mean, the trucks are cool. The atmosphere's neat. You know, the racing, they actually go get it. I mean, they race hard.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of amazing to me. It's a novelty, and it's not hardcore stock car circle track racing, you know, and it just grabs the people's attention.
But
that keeps it hit home that we are in the entertainment business first.
But and you got to give those guys credit too, because none of them when the race is over, they might have beat and banged on each other, but they're standing right there at the front of their truck, and every one of them kids that come up there, and everybody there, they take the time with them. I've seen the lights start going out, and they're still doing it. I love it.
You're right. You can't ask for a better group of guys.
Well, so what is, from what you've taken this year, the middle was good. So what's on the horizon? Like 2018, you got anything up your sleeve or anything new you're going to try?
Well, you know, new, I don't know. We're really happy with the Northwest Super Late Model Series. I can pretty much guarantee you're going to see more than one next year. So that's going to be a good thing. We're going to carry on with our super late model division and our late model division. I mean, all our divisions are doing pretty good. As far as anything new, I guess we'll kind of have to wait until the promoters meetings come and go and see what's presented and if anything makes sense. But for now, I would say if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely.
As far as the middle or the beginning not being good, that was weather. I mean, that wasn't anything other than weather. So can't really blame that on anybody.
Oh, you had people biting at the bit to get out. That's the best part of the first part of the year.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
it was crazy. I mean, I think the 1st of June, every single division was within a 10-point spread for the points lead because we'd had no racing.
well, so now what about the store? You've got the track to deal with and all the logistics there, but now the store's open. What is it open? 6 days a week, 5 days a week?
It is 6 days a week during the racing season. Yep.
Wow. And then in the wintertime, do the hours change?
I am by appointment only on Saturdays, but I'll basically meet anybody anytime they need to meet. That's just how you got to do it.
Gotcha. So when you're not at the store, you're doing business for the track, right? You don't have another job or?
Correct. Nope. The store is full time. We do a mechanical. You know, we run auto mechanics. We've got an auto body shop on the place. We do the race car parts. We do some setup work. We do shocks. We do pull down service. So we keep pretty busy.
And then them cars that are out in front of the line there for sale, that's coming out of your deal then?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, before we get away with something there, and I went to your website, gal.
Yes.
She deserves kudos because what I like is if I don't happen to have a chance to get down there, is Sunday, I can click on your guys' stuff and I have race results. There isn't very few tracks in this part of the country that do that. She deserves an attaboy on that one, or an attagirl.
And I'll tell you what, I want to take no credit away from her because she does a great job, but it's pretty easy because when you upload the results Saturday night after you're done, it's an automatic widget and it just transfers them. So,
but still,
I don't know why more tracks don't do that.
That is, you got it. Because I do on Wednesdays, I do race results, and I do from the border down clear into Oregon. And half the time, I don't get anything because Wednesday they still haven't posted. You know?
Yeah, and that's something, right?
You know, and I've even called and talked to them. You know, can you shoot me an email with them? Yeah. Here's my stuff. Happens once, that's the end of it. So, you know, and I just, I mean, it's almost frustrating because I really want to put it out, but I can't do it if they won't give it to me. So
yeah, no, I get that. That's part of the business. You got to keep people informed. That's what they want to see.
yeah, and you have that.
Now you guys are no longer at all. Evergreen's the only NASCAR track in the Northwest, correct? Am I right on that?
Yeah, Coos Bay down in Southern Oregon. I don't know that you'd call that Northwest, but I know Drake took on the NASCAR name this year, and I know you've got Eddie McKean. I'm not sure about Meridian, but I know Magic Valley for sure is NASCAR. But once again, that's Idaho. I don't know that you'd call that the Pacific Northwest.
Close enough. I mean, okay, I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, we all got to kind of stay together right now at the rate things are falling apart around the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
The reps for them come by and see me every year and try and recruit me, and I'll tell you, once I climb up one side of them and down the other for what they're doing to our sport, they can't get out of there fast enough.
That's a fact. So, I wanted to ask you now. There's one question I got, but there's no way I could ask it on the show. You've really got my creative juices flowing here. My curiosity on that trailing arm, but we'll talk about that some other time. It was cool as heck. So we can see the late model guys twice next year, and then do you run on Friday nights?
We do not do Friday nights.
Is there a reason for? I mean, and I'm just asking as a whole.
There's absolutely a reason. Have you tried to drive anywhere on a Friday?
Here, yes.
Yeah.
We have a lot of racers from the Tacoma area north and from the Longview area south. Coming north from Longview, not so bad. Coming south from Seattle is a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
So we have tried a couple Friday night shows in the past, and it just has never panned out.
Well, you got practice on Thursday. I mean, and another thing, too, and one of the things that I kind of learned with the boys at the Woodburn drag strip down there was if you don't run that Friday and you run all weekend for, so you have 2-day race or whatever, your surrounding neighbors have less, they don't seem to be as upset,
Correct. And you've got your employees too. It's a lot to ask them to give up every Saturday all year long, and then you're going to ask for Friday or Sunday, or it's tough,
It is.
Are you guys? Who are you? Car wise, are you a dealer for anybody or any buddies?
As far as chassis?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. We do left-hander Racing Dynamics and Port City.
Now, Racing Dynamics is, you told me, Travis Sharp, right?
Yes, correct.
And he was formerly Nicole Behar's crew chief?
Correct.
Okay. That's a cool-looking car, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's beautiful. Those lower control...
There's a lot of neat ideas that goes on there. Travis's dad has a shop in Virginia, and Travis has been a crew chief for everything from the bottom all the way to the top. I do believe he's got cup experience. I know he spent a lot of time on a truck, so he's a definite asset to have in your corner when it comes to race cars.
Oh, those lowers were just, you could just drool. I mean, they're beautiful.
Yeah, nice stuff comes out of Montana.
Absolutely, and you guys are the full meal deal on dealers, right? For, are you a long anchor dealer and all that, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's nobody that we really don't deal with or can't deal with. Right.
Now you say you had a shock dyno too. Can I bring any kind of shock there to get dynoed, or does it have?
That's a good question. It all depends on the mounting hardware. Obviously, if it's got rod end mounting hardware, it's easy. If it doesn't, we got to see if, one, we can make a bracket, two, if it'll physically fit.
Okay.
I have dynoed bus shocks before.
Really?
Yep. I had to make some brackets to do them, but we did bus shocks.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yep.
And then, of course, now all the new stuff is you can change the valves in them, right?
Just about everything. I mean, when you look at the West Coast late model series and you look at the South Sound Speedway late models, they have a non-rebuildable, non-adjustable. So there's nothing you can do. But I promise you, you order 6 shocks with the same valving, all 6 are different.
Oh, yeah, like when you get them from AFCO?
Yeah, when you order 4 AFCO shocks, and they're all going to be different. I mean, they're close, but close isn't winning. You know, you got to be right on the money.
Right.
But all the other main shocks are all revalvable, and we do a fair amount of them in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the ones you have to have really expensive tooling to do them, and you only see them once a year. So I just have somebody that I send them to if that's the case.
Wow.
I didn't realize you were on non-rebuildables on that. That's a good idea.
And like I said, that's on our late model class, which would be, you know, kind of considered limited.
Yes.
They've got a sway bar rule, they've got a shock rule, and they've got an engine rule. And, you know, it knocks $15,000 out of the car in a hurry.
Speaking of the engine rule, now those are crates, but are they allowed to be rebuildable?
Yeah, the 604 crate motor, we allow the Cope rebuilt crate motors.
Okay. Because I mean, I've dealt with IMCA with the dirt modifieds, and they are no, you're not rebuilding anything.
And honestly, that's probably how it should have been.
Mm-hmm. Once you open the door, it gets out of hand, I think, a little bit.
You know, this kind of all came around in 2008, and of course the economy took a pretty big nosedive right there.
Yep.
How do you tell a guy, look, you got this motor that you can rebuild for a couple grand, but we're not going to let you. You're going to have to sell it and spend another $5,500. It's hard to tell the guy that.
Yeah. Right.
And most of the guys, I believe most of them are honest. I really do. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are laughing at me right now saying that, but we've had guys absolutely dominate. We've pulled their motor. We've taken it up to Copes. Not one of them has even made 400 horsepower.
Yeah, see? I mean, and let that be a lesson.
That's called do your homework and do your setup.
Absolutely it is. And that's really what it's gotten away from, right? It's just gotten so... I'm not sure what's going on, but... So, do we have too many series, in your opinion? I mean,
that's a good question.
With the local stuff?
You got to be careful. You got to be careful because every time you want to add a class, you just take 1 or 2 cars out of every other class. It's not like you're going to add a class and pick up 10 new drivers. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the trend.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to give the guys what you feel is their best option as a racetrack, given the price range and how hard it is to work on the car and how expensive it is to maintain the car. Give the guys some options and let them do the decisions. But if you give them too many choices, you know, it's like going to the restaurant staring at the menu for an hour.
Yeah, that's a fact. I think the best thing is to give them a set of rules. Here's what you can do. Here's what you can't do. And it's up to you, right? I mean, that's I would think that's the simplest way. I mean, keeps policing down and everything else.
No question. At Rule 1, you know, don't change the rules. Rule 2, enforce the rules.
Yep.
And I think that's all you can ask for.
Fact.
All our rule books, we try and do them for a minimum of a 3-year span. So guys know that if they're going to put a car together, if they're going to spend the money on a new part, there's not going to be something new next year that they got to contend with.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of revamping our mini stock class, which we were way old school on the rules and we've kind of come up to current. With the exception of that, no major rule changes in the last few years on any of our stuff.
Now, I got a question out of all the classes that you have come in to the track from the outside that you don't run on a weekly basis.
Sure.
I don't know. I've been watching this vintage modified class. Do they seem like they have less and less cars every year?
I don't know. That's a tough question. I don't know. They've got some turnover, that's for sure. And they've picked up some guys on the east side that are racing, but they don't make all the races. There's a handful of them that if the weather forecast is bad, they don't spend the money and make the drive.
No, that's understandable to a point, yes.
There's some guys that are in my immediate area, I'm going to say within a 20-mile circle, and they run the South Sound races, and they don't do a whole lot of traveling otherwise.
I was just curious because it seemed like I know the first vintage modified race I went to down there, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm in heaven. There's 20-some cars here. And then it seems like it's kind of gotten a little bit less. But also, too, when that happened, that was about the time the economy had taken a tank. So
Right, times got tough.
Yeah.
I think we had between 12 and 14 of them at our last race, and that's a good show on a 3/8.
it is a good show. Sometimes I've listened to some of these people talk about, well, there's only 8 cars here. Yeah, but it was 8 class cars. You know, I sometimes I don't want to see that slow guy in there. I understand it; it's all part of it. But if you put 8 guys that go out and put on you a show, and the stands are going nuts at the end, what more can you ask for?
We've had some of our best super late model races with 10 cars or less.
Yeah.
You know, 1 or 2 cautions, some great racing. If you got the 8 fast guys, you got a good show. It doesn't matter about the rest of them. You want the rest of them, and it can make it more interesting, but, you know, you got to deal with what you got to deal with. And a lot of times the drivers will realize, you know, hey, we're down a little bit. Let's try and help.
That's so awesome. And that's the way it should be. But you're right about the 10-car deal, because I was at the Miller 200 and there was only 9 left. I kept telling my wife, we are not going. I just have this feeling. 2 to go. She's like, all right. I'm like, okay. Bland was gone. And the next thing I know, I hear all this ruckus while I'm getting in the car, and I'm like, oh, he must have won.
Yeah, no, you missed the finish there, buddy.
Yeah, that was a finish.
Hated to see it for the drivers. Every fan in the house got the show of the year.
Absolutely, they did.
Well,
go ahead, Jeff.
One of your this one young lad that just stepped into the late models, or that Tristan Hyder, I've been impressed with that young man.
Isn't he doing a good job?
Oh my gosh. He looks like he's a seasoned veteran.
I'll tell you what, the legend cars are such a good feeder class. You know, the kids can get into those at a young age. They're not easy to drive. I mean, they are on a hard tire. They've got good horsepower. They're light. You know, same with Devin West. You know, Tristan excelled at the legend, and I mean, he ran the table on that class for a couple of years, and he jumped into a late model, and it was just a natural transition. And the kid's so smooth. Good family, good crew. You know, he's got Danny Rhodes is his cousin. He comes and helps him. He's got Larry, who used to be Dan West Jr.'s crew chief on a late model, helping him. And I mean, they're doing really well.
Well, then you got Jake.
Jake Hyder, absolutely.
Yeah, Jake's got the legend now, and that's.
He's got Tristan's legend, actually.
Yeah, I work with Jake's. I guess it would be his father-in-law type thing. So I get race reports if I'm not there.
Gotcha.
So, are you married, Nick?
I am not currently. I used to be, but now I'm not.
Oh, I was gonna say it's kind of maybe like we were talking about the crate motors. Yeah, probably not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I'm doing fine. Single life's doing good for me.
Do you have kids?
I do, yes.
How many you got?
I've got 2.
Boy, girl?
15-year-old girl, and she's into racing horses, and I got a 3-year-old son.
Nick, we got something else in common.
The horses.
My daughter's, and I'm just gonna say, it's a bigger rat hole than any race car ever thought of being.
Absolutely. The race car makes you mad. You park it in the corner and put it on jack stands. These horses are every single day of the year.
That's all they do.
Yep.
Eat and poop and keep you working. Dang. Well, so any chance you'll ever get back in a car?
I don't see that happening. I don't have the desire to get out of a car again. I would love to get back in a car, but getting out of the car is hard. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to do it for as long as I did. We had some great success, and I'm happy with that. And I don't think I want to go through getting out again.
Gotcha.
Well, not only that, look at what you got and what you're building.
You got a big plate.
I'm too busy. Yeah, there's just no time. People are like, well, why don't you just go run the Fall Classic? You know, it's the end of the season. You're not racing. Go down to Vegas and run a car. That's great to say that, but honestly, if you haven't driven 10, 12 times in the year at least, you don't have a chance.
Nope. That's a fact.
The guys that race and race hard, you can't beat them.
And yeah, and besides the money to do it.
Well, this is true.
I mean, the money helps, but I mean, I think it's a sport where it's changing constantly. You gotta stay up. I mean, you miss a little bit, and it can be a lot. So, who were your inspirations? You had to watch somebody that made you go, God, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to win 3 championships against these guys.
Well, I grew up watching Roy Haslam win about everything you can win in Canada. I worked on modified with a friend, Rob Scott, and he did really well in that. So, I mean, those are my 2 Canadian inspirations. And when I got to South Sound, I mean, Tom Sweatman and Wes Rhodes, they were the 2 guys that you wanted to beat, and they were the guys that I wanted to go race.
Well, I always thought it'd be Ron Eaton.
Rock and Ron Eaton. You know, between Ron and Garrett and Pete, you know, those are kind of the 3 icons in the Northwest, and those would be definitely obvious choices. But I don't know. That's not really my deal. I've been on the local level my whole deal.
That's all. You know, I can remember. You know, Bob Melly was a stud.
That he was. I mean, he won here, Portland, Tri-Cities, you name it. He was fast.
And that's why I think when they had the big motor rule, you could run a big motor with weight, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, those were kind of cool. I missed that. So you know what? And they were on Hoosier Comanches too, I think. They were
when we took the place over, they were on a General, and everybody took the tires off the race cars during the week and put them on their trucks and drove them around because the lower the tread wear, the better they ran.
Right, because I think they had a 3/32 rule, right? They couldn't be, right? Did you have to replace them?
Right, you wanted to get them all the way there, but not past there.
Right on. Yeah. Can you imagine those guys handling that stuff on a? Because I think that was an 8-inch tire.
I think that the track record when we took the place over was a high 16, and I broke it at a 1344, and that stood for 7 years, and then Kelly Mann broke it at a 1342. That's a long way from a 16 to a 13. Yes,
it is. A way long way. I mean, you just look back, even at Portland, you go back through some of the old programs. I mean, I remember when, you know, even like the big Grand National guys, the fast time was a 23 something. And if I'm not mistaken now, the tour guys, I think Garrett's got it at a 19.2.
Right.
I remember
anytime you cut seconds off a track record, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's just technology, right? For the most part.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they're lighter. They're making more horsepower. The shocks is everything. I mean, if you don't have the right shock package, it's hard to excel. And then they've got bump stops and bump springs and, you know, different trailing arms. You see any fancy trailing arms lately to help with forward buy? I mean, there's sway bars.
Then
the guys that are full-time guys. I mean, you know, you look at Garrett and you look at, you know, Mitch Klein, who's won a couple races, and I mean, they've got full-time crew chiefs helping their programs, and it sure helps excel it.
Mm-hmm. For sure it does. For sure it does. So I guess, how important is it to keep those underclasses going? Do you think your mini stocks, your, you know, baby grands, all that, is that going to be feeding your late model division? Hopefully.
What blows me away every week is, you know, we call them bumblebees, others call them hornets, others call them tuners. It blows me away how many people get up and leave the grandstands after that race is over, and they're normally first on the night. They're our future. You absolutely have to keep these feeder classes going.
Couldn't agree more.
They're not all going to make it, but if a couple of them make it up, I mean, that's what it takes.
That class, though, that tuner, whatever you want to call it, when you guys had the deal with the cone that in turn one that they had, if you were leading, you had to take the top side. I know. Yep. I'd sit there and just laugh. It was insane to watch it, you know.
So I don't know when you were there, but since then, what we've done is we won't tell them how many laps the race is going to be, and we just we'll decide it before the race starts, and I'll tell all the officials so everybody knows, and we just drop the checkered when they come out of the corner.
That's a different. That and the commitment cone. I thought that was the first time I ever seen the commitment cone. I'm going, oh my gosh, what an idea! Because that one race, Sweatman, something was going on, and Tom brought out his late model, and it didn't even have a good motor in it. It had the one out of his modified from Elma, and he goes,
Yep.
and he took the top side. He went from 6th to 2nd. I'm going, well, nobody else wanted to top except Tom.
The cone deal, the commitment cone was all right for that. What we ended up happening though, it was too big of a carrot. So like you said, he went from 6th to 2nd. Well, sometimes that 6th place guy doesn't need to be running there.
Yeah, and
or if you get lap guys that take it, and now you've got a guy that maybe shouldn't be there, and he's there, and it's every bit his right to take that cone.
Yeah,
but
you got a
then
point.
They're trying to get down, and they're slow, and sometimes you end up with more wrecks.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way. I just thought it was so. I mean, I was sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, this is kind of cool."
Yeah, that's why we went away from that and went to double file restart. That way, cars that were running together are still going to be running.
Yeah,
together.
that's it. I mean, it makes sense. Like I said,
but it was entertaining. There's no question.
Yeah, that and like I say, that and with the bees were there. You had them wherever you put that cone, they had to run on the top side. That just I thought, yeah, you're leading the race. Oh, you got to take the long way around.
That's right.
Well, hey, Nick, before I'm going to ask you this last question, I'm going to let you go. So, some people say, well, the things go up, they go down, they go away, they come back, they do this, they do that. Where in your mind do you see the sport in 5 years? Are we healthy and strong?
5 years, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
I think we're fine. There's a lot of people running quarter midgets. Believe me, I know. They come through the store. There's a lot of former racers. Jeff Berkshire, Brandon Reel. They both got kids in the quarter midget class. Tell me they're not coming.
Right on. Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think this is just a phase. I mean, the dollar thing, right? And all the acquisition and all the new what do you guys say? Some of the stuff that we used to do seat of the pants, they've got pretty good help with now, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we've got to make it easy. We as in racetracks, we have to make it easy for people to come, see what you're doing, and get involved. And that's the tricky part, is make them feel welcome, let them know, yeah, you can do this. And it's going to be a learning curve, but you can do this, and you're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
Exactly. And that's where the spec stuff comes in, right? Because you got to make it, like you said, easy.
That's right. I mean, the Legend class, that sure seems simple, right? Here's your shock package, here's your car, here's your engine, here's this, here's that, go. Yeah, it's not that easy, but it is a great starter class for a lot of people.
Well, what impresses me is their tech. Oh, my gosh. The end of the deal, the top 5 cars go down, and, well, we're going to do this today. We're going to check this today. And you just kind of think, oh, my gosh, I never even thought of it. Well,
it's not we're going to tech this. It's we're going to tech these 5 items.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay.
It's impressive. The drivers handle it so well. The tech crew handles it so well. I mean, it is really impressive how that part goes.
Yeah, it is. That's kudos to the Legends. I was against the Legends to start with because I didn't like everything being bought from Umpty Wheeler. And the more I've sat around and watched, like with Devin there, and you start understanding and you start looking at the cars and going, well, this could have got out of hand if this didn't happen.
It would have got out of hand, no question.
The dwarf cars, which are running all the dirt and all this stuff, they're out of hand. Now, those guys are building huge motors, and it's just crazy for no more than they are,
Everything has evolved on the dwarf cars except for the car count.
We've had some pretty big ones down at.
It's still good.
Yeah, Gray's Arbor was 47.
That's awesome.
That was a 2-night show. The last time they had 26, and that was for a $2,000 to win purse.
Yeah, fantastic.
So,
I know the Ford Focus midgets have done really well too.
Yep. Carla and Galen Stewart.
Sometimes the spec thing is not a bad deal.
Yeah, they do a good job, and I think a lot of
Carla and Galen, it's their life. I mean, they work that hard, and they do a fantastic job. But having it being affordable, that's big too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, man, I know you're a busy guy. I just want to say it was cool yakking with you. Cool getting to know you. I mean, I'm hoping it was great meeting Kelly Hale. Good guy. We can help you on your PA though. I'm just going to tell you. You've got a good start. We just got to get it hooked up in the booth.
Yeah.
But I got that. I got you.
I'd be more than happy to talk to you about all that. Good
deal, man. Well, hey Nick, thanks, and appreciate you supporting me, supporting the show, and like I say, man, you're I'll be supporting your stuff for as long as it's there. I mean, it's just too good not to spread the word.
Well, I really appreciate that. And I got a 3-year-old kid, and I plan on him running it one day. So don't worry, we're in good shape.
Right on. Well, thanks, Nick. We'll talk soon, okay, brother?
Right on. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
You betcha. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
All right, Nick Behn. They don't get much down to earth than that.
Nope.
He's got it together. I mean, did you hear any sign of worry in his voice?
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But like I said, it's just like when you go to a driver's meeting. I've sat there at the driver's meeting. Like you said, they're not very long. But he says it, it's done, and it's go racing.
Yeah, Brent Meyer says, you got to ask him quick 5. You know what, guys? You know what, Brent? I have asked for, give me some stuff. Send me, I'm going to type it so I have proof. Send me a list of things that you think I could use to ask other guests. I'm going to get Doug Hobbs on here. I'm going to try to. I'm going to get, I don't know who's doing Hermiston now. I heard Tar isn't doing it anymore, but I could be wrong. I'd even like to get Ted Pollock on here. Boy, wouldn't that be cool?
Ooh.
Yeah, he's been around a while. Dale Schroeder, thank you. I got to say this. Schroeder qualifies P2 at Yakima, if I'm not mistaken. I was a little confused at how they had it, but yeah. It was either that or he was 6th quick. And he finished 8th. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the Blingmeister starting to get things rolling. Happy for you, Dale Schroeder. That's pretty darn cool for as much trouble as you guys had. But that's the deal. Like we talked with Lori Fuller. You just got to stay at it. I mean, if you can, right? You can't have major catastrophes every week, but boy, the moral of the story is just stay with it.
The Millers.
Yeah. They're everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. Just stay with it. The good things come. Hard work never goes unrewarded. I'm a true believer in that. And he's a good kid, too, and he can wheel it. You guys are going to be fine. You just got to get a little luck. But
oh, look, Ronnie won tonight. Brent.
Oh. I only won because you were sleeping. Yeah. Well, hey, that's it for the show. Jeff and I asked you this a couple weeks ago, and it's mostly the car guy. But Dale Schroeder, this is one for you. You can throw it out there to your guys. Is this something you guys would like to see continue? I mean, I just did it because I was doing some stuff with the super late models, so we did it. It was just going to be a recap on those things. We've now kind of went from that. Well, we said, well, shoot, we'll still do it. And then it went to, well, why don't we just call it late model? And then just kind of do a little bit about that. Because it is hard on the other show to cover everything. But I'd be curious to hear what you think, Schroeder. If it's something you think we should continue on, great. If it's something, it's all right. I mean, we'll take it either way.
Well, and if I'm going to say one way or the other, when it comes race season, if we don't continue through the winter, it comes race season in April, May, it's coming back.
Oh yeah,
we're coming back.
We'll be on it
with vengeance, because we got the tracks here, and now it's just like there. We got Nick on board now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll start scratching his back. He scratches our back, and then
that's what we all got to do,
and we'll just keep it. We'll keep it flowing. But
right.
Why we're curious, do you want us to keep it going through the winter?
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, I don't think we're going to teach these guys anything more than that, but there's a lot of it. But then there are some that maybe could use it.
I don't
Give us some feedback, Schroeder. And
just like today, Nick was a valuable source. It's his positive attitude. This place is going to be here. People you take that to the bank because they have been there.
Well, that you get a taste of, not everybody knows. I mean, he didn't say it, but trying to figure out who paid, who didn't, who got laps, who didn't. They get half, the other guy, I mean, that alone is a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone, what are we going to do with the food? What are we going to do with it? So
he shows a passion.
Yeah, he does.
For the sport and keeping his racetrack alive.
Yeah, but more importantly than that is everything's relative, right? He's doing the same thing the racers are doing every week. It's just a different deal. He's dealing with situations. Gosh, should we put that shock in? Should we? We were drunk. We got There's just all these variations that. So we oftentimes think, man, that track, good grief, God Almighty, come on.
I swing the gate open and go racing. No, it doesn't work that way.
Nope.
Believe me, I was at Woodburn Drag Strip. I did everything, from clean the grills to the bathrooms to mow the lawn, the water, the whole thing. You just don't throw the gates open.
Yeah, well, I can remember working at Woodburn, and Livingston asked me if I was cleaning the bathrooms, and, well, you know what I told him. So, anyway, with that, that's kind of in a nutshell where we're at with it. I mean, it's fun to do. We try to talk to different people. I'm going to have, I think next week, I got the honey badger, Andy Soul. I got to call him, but I'm going to try to get Andy Soul on. So, be interested to talk to him because he's a former Carter shifter cart standout, and he's doing the late model thing. He's doing super late model. I mean, he's in a lot of stuff. The only thing I'm not sure is if Bradley Shaw comes with that. If so, Soul, you're out. No, I'm kidding. I love Bradley Shaw. You know him, go-karter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good guy. Yeah. Great stuff. Bradley Shaw, thanks, man, for the tip. I'll be tell Andy I'll be giving him a call. So look for Andy Soul hopefully next week on Late Model Monday. In the meantime, if there's somebody or something you would like to hear about or have us research or think would be a great topic, by all means, we are all ears. Let us know. For sure. And with that being said, take somebody new to the races with you. Just take them. Say, hey, come on, you're going to come see what I do. Bring a friend, short track racing, support your local racetracks. It's huge. And if there's shops there like Nick's, my gosh, if you can at all, try to get your stuff there because these guys are put a lot on the line here. So, Jeffrey, what else you got, man?
I'm thinking we're about good.
Yep, we are about good. We're way over, but how do you? It's just like Nick said. How do you tell that guy you can't sell it and you got to go spend $50? You can't.
Nope.
So we're out. See you next week, guys. Send us some notes. Send us some ideas. Help us make this Late Model Monday deal. Boom. Dale Schroeder, thank you so much, man, for tuning in. I appreciate all your support. Always have, always will. Kelso, Brent Meyer, I know you got some ideas.
Squires.
Yeah, the Wisconsin Whiz, Stock Car Ace, and yeah. We'll see you next week, guys. Have a great week. And don't forget, we're here Wednesday night, 6:38, Northwest Race Report. Appreciate it if you tune in. We love you. Take care.